Okay, so what I'm going to do today is I'm now going to do the rear speakers. What we've got at the moment is we've got the head unit, which is an Android head unit. We've got the front speakers, they've been replaced, but we've now still got the rear speakers to do, which is going to be a little bit of a job because the back seats are going to have to come out. However, can't be as hard as fitting the reverse camera, so which was quite a job. So we're going to get the back out, put some new speakers in, put it all back together again. Just before I do that, we're going to play a little bit of music and you can see why we need to do it. So if I play this track, and I'm going to go to the fader. I don't know if it's going to come across, but the front speakers actually sound fairly good. That's the front speakers you can hear now. When I change to the rear speakers, I'm not sure how much that's coming across, but the rear speakers sound more echoey and there's not so much clarity. I'll switch, I guess, rear. That's front. Rear. Front. Okay, so that's what we've got at the moment. Let's start doing it. Okay, so first stage, we've basically tried to tidy as much out the car, at the boot and everywhere else that we can. Then we're going to start with the door sills. So remove all the screws from the front to the rear. I've got people sort of building scaffolding next door, but let me show you what we got. Okay, what I need to do is remove all the screws to the plastic door. Yeah, drilling going on. Right, remove all the screws and then start to lever off. I started off, I think it was from about here. Okay, you're going to need that. And sort of get in from that side and then lever all the way across. Show you what we've got. Okay, so this bit here, that's the bit at the back, and you can see there's like a little green wall plug, which is going to be popped vertically upwards. The rest of it is going to come out a bit of an angle, and you've got these little clips here, and there. Okay, so that would be the front of the car, and you've got pretty much the same thing on the other side, but it's slightly different because you've got the bonnet release catch, so it's going to be a slightly different shape, and it's going to be a mirror of this one. Right, and those clips, these, they're fitting into there all the way along. Okay, but it's not too difficult, they just pop out. Once you've actually made a start somewhere and you felt one of them pop, yours will start to come all the way across. Okay, so once you've done that on both sides, on to the next bit. Okay, so once you've got that sill off, you've got another couple of hidden screws on either side. Alright, there's one there, would have come, which I've taken out. Alright, basically just keep removing all these screws. And one on that side. Alright, and then we also need to do the seat belts. Okay, seat belts quite easy, just do a screwdriver and then you turn. If you can get this, see that, you just turn that through 90 degrees. Let's get a screwdriver. Okay, turn to 90 degrees. Oh dear, I've got a free hand now. Hang on. Okay, I had to stop recording, but you can now see, right, that's it. And then when it comes to put it back in, then you just fortunately I can't hold the camera and do the screwdriver and pull the seatbelt at the same time, but you can see that that's just on a little spring. And then I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to pause it and then pull the seatbelt out. Okay, and now you can see it's out. And then when you're going to put it back in, you just reverse the process. Just turn to 90 degrees, right, and it will just lock back in position. That's simple. Next thing, so we've done the bottom of the seat belt. Now time for the top. That's just covered behind a little clip. And then we're going to take that bolt out, and that's that done. Okay, we've now got top of the seat belt is now off. That was a 17mm. 17mm. Next thing. So what I've now done is just pull this away, which is part of the sort of seal around the door, and then that and the same the other side. Okay, so we've now got seat belt out, back seat, that was from 2 bolts. That's also 17mm. Okay, and we're nearly there. We're nearly at the panel that we want to get off. More screws out. This screw that was on there, and one that was there. Okay, which went to there and there, and then it just pulls off. Same the other side. Okay, scaffolding guys have gone, so it's a bit quiet now, but onwards and upwards. Probably something you probably should have done right from the start is maybe take the back seats out altogether, because it's a hell of a lot easier. Well, you're going to have to at some point. To get the back seats out, you've got these, which are all, again, number 17 spanner, and then that there. On any job that I've ever done, there's always about one thing that decides I ain't playing. This was the one, right? But you need to get that one out, and I had to go and get some WD-40 and spray quite a bit in there because it just was not shifting. Right, but once that is out, and you've got the nuts out here, 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 and I think there's also a couple around the front. Let me have a look again. Right, there was some that was there, though that was for the bottom half of the seat. 2 of those. There's also, from what I can remember, I think there was a couple more that you also had to undo. All number 17 bolts. Once you've sort of, it's fairly obvious what are holding the seat in. It was only that one in the middle that I wasn't sure about, but that one's got to come out as well. Once you've got that out, then the seats should come out. Already got the bottom half out. This will be the top half, the backrests. Okay, onwards and upwards. Probably what I could have done as well is remove that, which then means you can then get that through there, so I might have a look at doing that next. But I think we're actually getting close to getting the panel off. Yeah, so with the rear seat, it was nuts there, 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 and also there and there. Right, they're all 17mm, right, and if you find any more that I've missed out, well, yeah, it's fairly obvious it was only that one, which I wasn't actually sure how you get the final bit off, but then once you've got that out, then the backrest come out, which does actually make it a hell of a lot easier. Probably should have done that a lot earlier, because you can see they've got quite an open space. But let's see about getting this panel off, that one. Yeah, so I think all we've got to do is get that off, and usually that seems to be a different size nut, bolt, different size bolt than the other. It's not a 17mm. Oh yeah, well I'm on well, think of it, that was a Torque 40. Right, let's get that off. Okay, so what have we got now? Oh, 10:43. I think I started this around about 9 o'clock, but I've been doing it slowly. Probably feels, if I did this for a living and had power tools and all sorts of other things and didn't have to spend ages hunting for the right spanner, I probably could have got this done a lot quicker. But anyway, yeah, I probably would have took the rear seats out earlier, because that gives you a bit more room. That, yeah, so that seat belt, that's got quite a long thread, and not only that, I had to go hunting for a spanner to find it, because I didn't have the right socket for it, or I couldn't find the socket for it. But it's come out eventually, and I think that panel should now come off, which means I can now get at the speaker. I'm going to do the other side, and then we'll have a look. Okay, right, so it never rains but it pours. So what's happened? Right, this nut over here on the passenger side, that one there, which was the seat belt, rear seat belt, that one didn't want to come out, but it did eventually. This one didn't want to come out, and in the end it had to be drilled out, and it was stuck fast, it was seized, it was a nightmare, but it's out now, and I've probably spent about the last hour fighting the thing. So, and that's probably the last bolt to come out. So it's absolutely sod's law that the last bolt didn't want to come out. Okay, next bit, hopefully almost the last bit, getting to the speaker. Pull the rubber away, get your hands behind here, and then you can see you've just got little pesters, wall plugs, whatever, little plugs. I'm waiting for it to focus. Come on, focus, there you go. Yeah, so once you're sure that you've got all the screws off, then it's pulling the thing away. Just be careful, because there is a, what looks like some kind of airbag thing down there. Come on, focus on it. Well, you'll see it when it comes off. Okay, so what we've got now is, you can see the panel is now off, and what a nightmare it's been to get to this stage, but we are now here. So when you take it off, be careful, because you've got a lamp attached, if you've not removed it or anything else, so don't be careful about that one. Other than that, if all the screws are out, all you've got then are these plugs, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, you've got a row of pretty much 4 along the top, 3 along the middle, and then 1 at the bottom. But what I was able to do is when I pull the rubber off there, you could sort of get your hand in and sort of work your way across, trying to pop them along the top until they all come out. It's not easy, but it will come. And then in there is a little piece of what looks like just a piece of carpet, underlay, something, I don't know, just a bit of material. That's interesting. I'll have a look at that in a bit. Right, so I'm going to stop recording. We're going to have a look at, well, I'm going to get the drill. I'm going to drill those 3 what are they, pop rivets. Drill them, pop 3 pop rivets out, and then we can start putting the speaker in, and we're going to put some sound insulation in there, sound deadening insulation in that hole, and then eventually we can start putting everything back together again. Also, that cable there, that was my reversing cable, which I'm going to clip onto there, because all I did before was I just fed it through the back without taking the whole thing apart. We'll tidy that up as well. Okay, done. Okay, next thing, let's see what's parking the car behind. Right, so next thing, we've drilled out the 3 holes. Yeah, that put up a bit of a fight as well. I fished out the bits of rivet that was down the back. That is how it connects into the speaker, which more or less I've sort of ripped out because it's not like I'm going to keep it. And you've got an orange wire and then an orange wire with a black, which I'm going to assume is the negative. In fact, where is the speaker? Did I sort of hurl it out? Oh, there it is. Right, so right, and that I think it's meant to be a 2-way speaker. It says 440 watts, which I think is probably a little bit hopeful. I don't know. You can see how much I sort of gnawed away at it to try to get it thing out, but that weighs pretty much nothing. I might weigh it later just to see what weight that is, but I feel like it's sort of like nothing to it really. Anyway, so let's get the new one. I want to start see if we can put some sound insulation in that as well. One other thing I did want to say, okay, so we've got it out. I did wonder, because there's a slight gap between the speaker and the grill, right, there's the grill, whether you could put some LEDs, right, some little diodes sort of on the grill, right, maybe there and there perhaps, right, perhaps feed it in perhaps from the side or something, and then power it off that cable in there, if you can find like a 12-volt supply. The idea being that, say, when you put the lights on, then the grill would light up, so you just have a soft glow coming from the grill. I think it's a great idea, but I don't think I'm going to do it, because I'm going to put sound insulation, I think, around the speaker, and also it's going to take a while to figure out what the positive and negative is. But if it's something that you're thinking of doing, it might, you know, it's a bit of an idea. If you can figure out, because there's enough cables there, there must be, some of them must be going to the tail lights, and there must be a 12-volt supply in that lot, so a 12-volt LED diode tapping into the wiring, so that when you turn the lights on, the speaker grill illuminates, maybe, if that's your thing. It was an idea I had, but I don't think I'm going to do it. I think I'm just going to go with this, because I want to, well, get everything back together, and then and then call it a day, because this has been a long day and it ain't over yet. Okay, what I've got now, right, this is mainly, some of it's just offcuts from when I did some sound editing elsewhere. So the reason why like there's two little random bits stuck in there is just because they were offcuts and I'd rather stick them on something than nothing. I'm not too bothered about it making it an exact fit, because anything's better than nothing, and you don't have to cover the entire wall. It's just to stop it resonating. So get to give it, how can I explain it? If you've got a biscuit tin, so I am actually sweating, right? And well, it's a good job this you can't smell anything, because I smell a bit fresh at the moment. Right, but if you've got a biscuit tin and you tapped it with your fingernail, it would make a sort of a tinny sound. If you've got a little square blue tack and you put it on the other side of that biscuit tin and then tapped it, you would make a dull sound, and that's just one square blue tack. So as long as you've actually put some insulation on there, it should stop it resonating and make it like a more solid wall. It's a pity that insulation there, I thought I had more of it, but I haven't. Whereas I could have also put that in there as well, maybe over the wheel arch, and done a lot more of it on there. But hey ho, I haven't. So and besides, it's going to be better than it was, so I'm not massively worried about covering everything. And there is actually, you can see there's a little bit, I think, I don't know if that was Fiat's idea of trying to, they have added all little tiny pieces, but not a lot. I think they've added the bare minimum. Anyway, let's get the speaker in, and then I'm going to do the same with the other side. Okay, that's it in. Got a little bit of tidying up to do, but it is playing. I didn't want to put the panel back on without actually hearing it do something. So, okay, that's good. And now I'll put some foam insulation around the outside of the speaker, which should then help to focus the sound forward, and also covers up all them screws and whatever else. Which is also probably why the diodes won't work if I was to put LED diodes on the sides, because you'd have to poke them through. Well, I suppose you could still do it, but no, I'm not doing that. Anyway, I want to get all this back together and done. Okay, so now both the panels are back on, only sort of roughly at the moment, and we've got seat belts again, which are now connected back up. Alright, before I go too far, because I've still got loads of trim panels still to put back on, right, and in fact that was, well, the new box on top of one of the old speakers. Let's have a look. What is the weight of that? I should have measured it probably before I did it. In fact, if you have a look at that, if I just put on that for a second, if you just do a freeze frame, you can read all that. And it doesn't come with a lot, just the speakers, screws, and that's about it. The adapter plate and the cable, I had to buy those separate, which you might see me put the plate and the cable in. It's up to you. I'm not sure if it's essential or not. Also, I put a layer of like rubber trim. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I've been running up and down. It's been raining here, and I've been trying to get stuff inside the house. Right, so yeah, so I put a little bit of sort of rubber trim between where the speaker is and the actual what it's mounted onto as well. And what model is it? There you go. Okay, throw that in the back there. I've used almost all of the sound deadening. I think that's all that's left. I might find somewhere to put that. Maybe put it under the seats or something, I don't know. Right, okay, so if we just play a quick bit of music. That's fun. Right, what I will say, let's turn it down. What I will say is it all sounds better. The rear sounded sort of echoey, boomy, not distinct. Just sort of like a pleasing noise, but a noise. Whereas now it's just, there's a lot more clarity all the way around. Yeah, I'm trying to get everything sort of back together again now before I actually go. Well, this job has taken longer than I thought. I actually thought I might be finished early this afternoon, but that, what is it, the thread that's sort of behind there, which felled up and ended up having to be drilled out and all sorts of it. That was an absolute nightmare. I probably lost over an hour trying to sort that bolt out, but I've got another bolt now. Right. But things are starting to go back together again. If I don't get the rear seats in tonight, it doesn't matter, I can do that tomorrow. What's this one? Yeah, it's just all YouTube music. It's copyright free. Okay, right, I'm going to stop it here. Okay, I wanted to add a final postscript. So everything's now done. So I now wanted to sort of just wrap things up because I feel like it's the end of a journey now. What I actually had originally when it started was a head unit, which was this one. I might put that onto the dash. That is what the car originally came with, and that I was frustrated with because it only played MP3s, not FLAC, so that had to go. The only way I could, because most of my music is ripped to FLAC, probably about 80% of it at least, apart from a few tracks I got from Amazon or whatever. I don't have a lot of MP3 stuff, so I couldn't play most of my music unless I put it onto my phone and then Bluetoothed it to the head unit. Plus that head unit didn't have navigation, and well, I don't even know how I would have connected the reverse camera to it or anything else. Right. So anyway, so it started with the head unit being replaced. I didn't replace the head unit. That was replaced by a professional, but I don't think he was that familiar with Android units, but he did manage to put it in anyway. Since then, that head unit's been out a couple of times because I've altered the aerial, because I managed to improve the FM reception, and I also connected the reverse camera to it. But that was where it started. Then after that, then it was the front speakers. I'd had problems with the car door handles. I got the door handles off, changed them because I wasn't paying a couple of £100 for what was really just a £10 hinge. So once I got the doors, once I figured out I could get the doors off, I thought, you know what, I reckon I can do the speakers. For the tweeters, all you have to do is you just pull the black lining, the black sort of black lining away, get your fingernails in there, pull that down, and then you can change the two front tweeters. Then after that, the two door speakers, if you can change the door handles, you can change the front door speakers. And then that was where it was for a little while, with the front four speakers changed and the head unit changed. Alright, this is the bit where some people might actually quit, because with the rear speakers, right, and you can just about see in there that they have been changed. That's not the stock ones. Alright, well, I'll show you what. I actually made a point of making sure that the logo would be the right way up, even though you can barely see it. Right, to actually get at the rear speakers, you've got to take the back seats out, and you have to take numerous panels off because they all overlap each other, and that's quite a bit of a job, and I think that's what puts a lot of people off. I would say you need to do it, because then if you don't, you have two choices. One, you push the fader all the way to the front on the head unit, and then you're only hearing from 4 speakers when you could be hearing from 6 locations. You could be hearing sound behind you as well. So you're a bit more limited if you do that. Or you can have the rear speakers if you're using the stock speakers, still making a noise, but it's not a pleasant noise. It's competent, but it's nothing special. And I could hear the difference. I could hear that they were the weak link. I was down driving to London. I also build PCs, and the weak link in the system is called a bottleneck. And for me, the rear speakers were the bottleneck of the system now. They were the only part left of the original system, and once they were changed, honestly, it made such a massive difference, which is why this video is about a month onwards from the previous one that you've just been watching, because I wanted to spend time listening to different stereo music, how's the separation, the volume, the bass, the mids, the treble. I wanted to hear with lots of different music what the difference was and just enjoy how much better the music was. Originally I used to play music at about volume 11. You can make Spinal Tap jokes there if you want, on the head unit. Now I find volume 11, sometimes it's a little bit louder for some music. Certainly the definition of all the music has improved. Music seems just far better to listen to in here. Being in the car and listening to music is one of the places where I do get to listen to music a lot, and it is just a much more enjoyable experience having changed it. Yeah, so there's the rear speakers that come out like that. I mean, if you think about it, they have been in the car now since 2016, so 8 years. In fact, it's almost coming up to their 8th birthday. It was September 2016 apparently that this car was made or something. So, and we're now in August 2024. That is like, it's about the weight of a frisbee, right? There's no weight to it, right? It's just like a piece of paper with a little magnet, right? But these progressively age because they're just foam and paper, and so they will actually start off not being particularly good and will progressively sound worse as time goes on. And that's what was still producing the sound in the rear, and either you cut those out or you have to put up with them, right? And I would suggest, no, change the rear speakers as well. It makes a difference. Don't forget as well that you don't have to do it all in one go. You could take the rear seats out on one day, right? So if you've got a weekend, you take the rear seats out on the Saturday, take some of the panels off. You can still drive the car, obviously not with passengers, and then on Sunday morning you can then make a start, or however way you want to do it. But you can spread it over more than one day if you need to, as long as I found the car was still drivable as long as I had front seats and seat belts in. So it looked a bit strange with like panels off and wiring visible, but car was drivable. So I only need a bit more road noise when you drive it, but other than that, it's not a problem. And total cost, I estimated it was about £600, around 300 for the head unit, and then 300 for speakers and sills and sound deadening. I don't know if that sounds like a lot, but you don't have to pay it all in one go. I'm just going to finish off with the actual music. One thing I've noticed as well is each individual speaker position just sounds okay if you're playing around with the fader and you push the sound to one speaker or another. But once you put it to the centre, they all come together like a greater whole to sort of make a far better sound experience. I don't know how much it sort of comes across to you, because obviously it depends on how good your speakers are, how good this microphone is, YouTube that compresses the sound, but everything is just far better. I can go a lot louder.
for something out of my nightmares. Standing right there. What if I leave?
Unfortunately, I can only play copyright-free music. I don't know what your favourite music is. I would have loved to have played it with how it was before and how it is now, but I played a lot of my favourite music and really appreciated the difference. So I'm going to leave it there, but I just want to sort of say is that I feel like it's a bit of an end of a journey, in that I started off not doing much with the car, paying others to do it. I can now change the head unit, I've changed all the speakers, I've got everything back together again. I'm really happy with the result. And one final thing, I might change that head unit. There's a more improved version out, and I might do a comparison of the old and new if I change it. And I might also go for an under-seat subwoofer, because why not? I am now reaching the point where I want more things to do. You get a wonderful feedback loop, in that you start off, you have a plan, you buy some stuff, you start changing things, there's problems along the way, there's a problem getting one of the bolts out in the back, it was seized. Eventually it gets solved, you get everything back together, and then you enjoy the fruits of your labour and you think, yep, that sounds better, that was good. And you figured it out yourself. And it gives you a bit of a buzz. So, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching.